Here in studio, it's Bills offensive lineman Alec Anderson joining us.
Hello.
Player interview appearances on One Bills Live are presented by Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the Buffalo Bills. First thing is congratulations are in order, Alec. You are an engaged man. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Pretty busy on the bye week. How much planning was involved in this?
You know, shout out Angelo, the video guy here.
Okay.
But he helped me out a lot. Probably I'd say about a week of planning went into it, and happened last Thursday or Thursday before on the bye.
Yeah.
So it was a great time. A lot of little small planning that I thought I was getting away with, but she figured out.
Oh, she was pretty much wise to it?
She was wise.
All right, so you got a smart fiance. Yeah,
smart fiance, very smart.
So were you aware that Josh was going to be doing the same thing on the same week?
I didn't. He actually, I did. He came to me and asked for all the same ideas.
I was going to say, the quarterback gets all the shine to begin with, and then of all weeks that you decide, you're going to pop the question, your dang quarterback's got to do the same thing and hog the spotlight.
I had no idea that was going to happen. We came back on Monday, and I was getting a lift in, and I think it was Coach McDermott, and he was like, "Hey, congrats, you and Josh, huh?" And I was like, "I didn't know Josh got engaged, but all right." I was like, "Good for him."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was great news.
Well, we're happy for both of you guys.
Thank you.
That's awesome. It's a fun time for sure. So let's begin with the snow game. I know that footwear is super important, when weather's going to be a little dicey, but the forecast was snow should stop by the time the game starts. And then all of a sudden you guys walk out there, the coin gets flipped, and the stuff starts coming down. It doesn't stop till the end of the game. So what's your process there? Are you always bringing two pair out, or were you pretty confident, like, I can do what I need to do here, even if it's a little suspect?
I was more confident in myself. I've never played in a snow game, so this was a first for me.
Yeah.
So I really had no idea what to expect. But I think if you start overthinking everything, and you're like, oh, I need 3 pairs of cleats, 2 pairs of gloves, different center towels are different just because the sweat and the water on there gets a little different for them. But I think other than that, no, I was confident in everything, game plan and myself going into there. Just you have to kick your feet off a little bit before you got in your 3-point stance, but other than that, nothing too crazy.
And then you knew, when did you find out or decide, when did it become apparent that you were going to run a ton of 6 offensive line? You ran a ton of it the other day.
It was news to me.
Yeah.
It was
because of the weather, right?
just
Probably
because
the
of the
weather,
weather.
right? Yeah.
They just kept calling whatever the play was, and I was like, all right, here we go again. I was like, it was fun though. It was probably the most fun that I've ever had playing football. Was just the snow, the environment, people throwing snowballs, the stadium, just the energy inside of it is just amazing.
Yeah, you had to be pretty inspired because you pulled your shirt up after the touchdown. You were feeling it.
I was feeling it. The snow was speaking to me, and it was like, oh, there it is. It was a great time. I'm not gonna lie. I was standing there. I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I'm gonna just flash my gut. Hopefully not get fined or anything.
Yeah, and off the other side,
Well, that's not a uniform violation that I know of.
Ran around, was dumping a beer on himself. I mean,
That was
so
legendary.
you guys were off the hook that night. It was a fun night to be on the field, right? I mean,
it was.
What was it? When did you know too? I mean, because they went down, scored. You guys went down. You guys went 3 and out right out of the gate. Then you tied it up, and then they missed a field goal, and Cookie turns around and takes it the distance. All of a sudden, it was on, right?
Yep. I think that's just how our offense operates. I think that we're just going to slowly keep doing what we're going to do, pound the rock, keep doing what we want, and then at some point we know our will is better than the other teams, and it's just going to break through one time, and James did that.
We were sitting here watching the show open come on, and you were like, "That's a cool open you were watching. When are you going to score a touchdown? We put you on the open of the show, I mean, is that on the horizon? I mean,
I think it is. It might be on the horizon. We'll install it every now and then. We got some plays in there, but just waiting for old Father Joe to call it for me.
How much input did you seek from David, having done this role last year? I mean, he was serving as the 6th O lineman last year. Now it's your job. How much input did you seek from him? Because it's not the same as lining up in one spot every snap for an entire game. Sometimes you're in, sometimes you're out, sometimes you're on the left side of the formation, sometimes you're going in motion. What kind of input did you seek from David about the role?
Dave is very vocal about it. Since he did it last year, he's been a tremendous help of just kind of telling me to look at, all right, we're playing a penetrating front or a reading front or a button press. Like that we know on, our Mondays or Tuesdays based off our installs. And then off of that, we kind of talk about, okay, now this person plays it a little different than their other defensive end. And so he really helps me to become more of a student of the game and figure out, okay, I got to use a different technique for each person and that each D lineman isn't the same. And I think that's been the most help with me.
Yeah. What are the early returns on getting ready for this Rams game? I know there's been a lot of hoopla. And we've had some calls on the show too about the big picture, about the division championship and all that. You guys, you're thinking about the Rams, and tell us about what your thoughts are about the Rams and their defense.
Yeah, I think that the Rams and their defense, they have a solid defense. Not as solid as when Aaron Donald was there, but they still drafted some guys. Fisk, he's going to be in there and doing his thing, and so I think Joe and also Cromer have come up with a great run game and just an overall pass game as well to really dice them up and get them out of their comfort zone and kind of pull them into our deep waters that we like to sit in.
Now, when you saw the schedule come out in May, you knew pretty early you were going to have to get yourself a boatload of tickets for this one, being from California.
Exactly.
And this being the closest game to home on the schedule. So what are you looking at now? Are you over 50 or where are you?
I think my fiance and I calculated last night. I think we're at like 38 or 40.
Yeah, because her family's from out there too,
her
right?
Her family lives right next to us. We're 5 minutes apart from each other.
Oh, yeah.
So they're all coming. It's gonna be a great time. Anderson and Santiago party. It's gonna be great.
A lot of 70s in the stands.
Oh yeah, a lot of 70s, and then after when we win, it's gonna be even better.
Yeah.
So.
There you go.
So looking at the game last week, like there's times where I got to follow the ball when I'm calling the game. So there's only so much attention I can pay to you guys on the line. But there was one in particular, the Ray Davis touchdown. You're on the right side of that formation at the snap, and you just kind of sealed everything off to the point where it was Ray against a DB. It was like a one-on-one situation with all kinds of open land for him to exploit. You just close that whole thing off? Like, you look like a wall on that play.
Hey, one-on-one is like none on none. So for Ray to have that much space and time with a corner in the hole, we'll take that every day. And for me, I don't know. I don't know really what to say, but it's amazing, isn't it?
And what can you say about Mack Hollins? When he signed here, he just seemed like a glue guy. You know those guys in your locker room that are like glue guys? He seems like the ultimate glue guy.
And he fits in not to just appease people and be like, oh, like I'm one of the guys. No, he's himself, and everybody sees that. He showed up in a scientist costume to the game, barefoot. Like, that's him. But I think he just brings energy and put it on his back. And just is amazing. Great human being as well, very genuine. I love playing next to him and blocking with him. It's awesome.
Yeah, we'll get to that in 1 second. Coach McDermott said that he enjoys your energy on the sidelines during the game, and he called your language colorful.
Colorful, yes.
Which I'm sure it is, because I've heard it sometimes on the practice field as well at training camp. But you seem like a soft-spoken guy off the field, so is there a switch that gets flipped when it's game time for you?
Yes, and it's the thing that every football player has said since the beginning of time. Like, you step in between those white lines and you just flip the switch. You get ready, and for me, I love it. It's great. It's a great time. Past 2 years, seeing the guys in front of me do it, like, dang, that looks so fun. That looks like a great time. And then now running onto the field with the Buffalo, and then also just being out there and being able to be my physical self is tremendous as well. Like, I love that.
And just for the record, the Alec Anderson fan club was started in this studio because Steve will vouch for this. At training camp, when you came in as an undrafted rookie, like, we study the draft enough to know even the guys that maybe don't get picked in rounds 1 through 7. And you're playing right tackle at UCLA, right? And like we're watching him in camp. What did we say? We liked his feet, right?
Yeah, he's gonna stick. We thought right out of the gate, and here we are.
We were kind of proud of ourselves that we told you we were right.
I told you so.
Out here, we got probably one of the most physical offensive lines.
That is a true story. That is a true story. We saw you take one-on-one reps your rookie year, and we were like, yeah, guys, he's going to make it.
Oh,
so
thanks, guys.
So here is the question. that comes for this week's Timbits Timeout, presented, of course, by Tim Hortons, where we solicit the fans
Timbits.
to ask Bills players a unique question. So this question comes from Jacob. It says, Alec, do you want to run routes? What is your go-to route? So people are getting creative here with this role of yours, Alec. So what do you say to that?
His name was Jacob.
Jacob, yes.
Well, Jacob, I think that's a great question. And I think you need to send this to Joe Brady. But I would love to run a route. I think if I got to run a route, I'd want to do like a fade.
Oh, okay.
Or just
You got some vertical to you there? Or?
Not even that. I just want to just rip the ball off somebody's head and just.
Oh, you want to moss somebody?
I want to stand
there
over
you
somebody
go.
and just be like, "That happened to you. Sorry, son. Like, live with that."
Just don't do it too belligerently, or you get a
That's right.
flag, as we know.
Oh, boo!
yeah.
Soft.
Well, we know how that
Yeah,
goes,
yeah,
right?
yeah. You know
what did you
If you
play?
score a touchdown, take the penalty.
Yeah.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
What other? Did
Hopefully
you
Pat will
play?
pay it for
Did
me.
you play any of the so-called skill positions as a younger football player? Or
You know, there was once a time, that I was skinny, and so I didn't play offensive line. I played linebacker with my brother, and
Okay.
then my first year playing football, I was actually a quarterback.
Oh,
And so,
okay.
Yeah, played
Yeah.
that for one season, and then I told them that I liked hitting people more than throwing the ball, because I'd throw the ball
that's
and then
not surprising.
I would just throw it and run down and just try to hit somebody right after
Yeah.
I threw the ball. And so they're like, all right,
Yeah.
we're going to switch you up to linebacker. And so
Yeah.
All right.
did that with my brother, and then went into high school, and offensive line is where I made my claim.
And it worked
Very
out.
nice.
So there it
Very
is.
nice.
Alec, thanks for spending some
Thank you,
time with us.
guys.
Good to have you
Appreciate
here
it.
in the studio.
It was awesome.